Hailing frequencies open, and welcome aboard Treks and Tangents. I'm your co-host, Brian.
And I'm your co-host, Jaci. I'm your Star Trek newbie who checks off on tangents.
And I'm your Star Trek expert who is here to get the tangents back on track. Each episode we watch and talk about a different Star Trek episode. And this week we watched
Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 2, Charlie X.
And at the end of last week's episode, I gave Jaci the title of this week's episode for our elevator pitch or turbolift tease. And Jaci gave her estimate or guess as to what the episode was. And I quote, "Whenever I hear a name and then an X, that means someone doesn't have an identity. So we might be introduced to a young person and then have to help them figure out who they are."
I was half right.
I'm going to give you half credit, not because you were half right, because those who tuned in last week, you heard Jaci watched part of this episode last week, so she had some insight as to what this episode was going to be. Again, Jaci got confused, started watching this week's episode last week instead of last week's episode. And what did we blame it on? The weird numbering because of the failed pilot?
Yes, not my fault.
Yeah, all the streaming services for Star Trek now show that failed pilot, The Cage, as the first episode, even though it's not really.
Yeah, that's the truth. Not my fault.
So we'll give you half credit. But this week we watched Charlie X. What did you think of that episode, Jaci?
I found it corny.
You found it corny. Why? Why did you find Charlie the Sex Pest corny?
Oh my. I thought he was like medical tourist. But every time he got mad, he was like a little child and did something weird with his eyes.
This is definitely very much the story from the episode of The Twilight Zone, where the little kid has powers, and when he doesn't get what he wants or someone upsets him, he banishes them to the cornfield or turns them into a jack-in-the-box or something along those lines. It's the exact same story.
And if you were not watching and you totally missed whatever face or arm movement he made, you were completely lost because there was like no sound until there was like a boing somewhere else.
In this or the Twilight Zone episode?
I've never seen the Twilight.
Oh.
So
I don't know why I would have thought you...
In the Charlie X.
Yeah. I mean, he makes that stupid little face where he rolls his eyes into the back of his head.
Only when he's angry. So, again, he had like 3 different facial expressions that that were like showing his amount of annoyed or anger or randomness. So, yeah, there was like no, what's the word? Connectivity? I don't know.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not at all, but thanks for trying. Yeah, no, it's got some problems this episode for sure. I have some issues with it, as I think anyone who watches it would have some issues with it. This is an actor that is generally praised for their performance of Charlie. I'll give him credit. Okay. He does portray Charlie very well.
Yeah.
For what the character is supposed to be. I don't have any issue with his acting abilities. I just have an issue with how the episode was written and how it played out, I think.
I mean, straight from the beginning, when the 2 people drop him off, they're supposed to be nervous, anticipation, please take him, but it's all in their face, and they look like they have to go to the bathroom.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah, there's definitely there's some things about the episode that could have been expanded upon. Again, we'll get to it and talk about it in the episode description or the episode recap, but there's other parts of this episode that suffer for outside reasons, and we'll get to it in the fun facts, but this was an episode that was very rushed through production for a variety of reasons. There were a lot of things that were planned for this episode that did not take place, and I think the episode ultimately suffers from it.
Yeah, big time. Especially for someone who doesn't know what they're watching.
I could see that for sure. So,
because I mean, I really enjoyed last week, and then we're you're supposed to keep me entertained by this week, and now all that was entertaining was the pretty bodies. Some people were shirtless. We got Janice in a cute little nightie.
We got Captain Kirk in his little sexy open V-neck shirt right in the beginning.
Yeah, hotties be hottin', but you have to again watch it. You can't just have it in the background.
Sure. Well, with those thoughts in mind, Jackie, why don't you walk us through the episode?
Happily. So we got our captain's log, and it is captain's log 1533.6.
I think your impression's getting better of Kirk.
Thank you. I'm working on it. And he is talking about moving to vessel Atari's.
Antari.
And yes, I can't even say anything. Antari. And I even had the CC going. So, yeah.
I don't know that a closed caption service would necessarily get all of the foreign, alien, non-English names correct, but
okay, that's my
certainly if you watch this episode or listen to these episodes, I should say watch these episodes and pull up a transcript that we make of these episodes, it does not get half of what we say correct, but I'm also too lazy to go back in and edit the transcript, so.
Got it. Well, we start out though in the Enterprise bridge, like right away, and we're told, "Hey, we're beaming in because we got to give you this kid."
Yeah.
Like no discussion, just like, "Hi, neighbors.
We're done. Take this 17-year-old off our hands."
But it's a cargo ship, and he's a castaway, so that makes sense. Like, you don't want him to die in a cargo.
Well, they beam him on board. The captain, the first officer of the cargo ship, and Charlie in the transporter room, and it's half mentioned that Charlie was found on a planet. They don't really get into a whole lot of detail of why he's there, how he got there, but I would assume that they're not just getting rid of Charlie because of his powers and his abilities that we'll come to learn he has, but on paper, the reason why Kirk and the Enterprise is accepting Charlie is clearly a 17-year-old has no place on a cargo ship. They have different missions, they have different responsibilities they can't keep track of and care for a 17-year-old, so they're turning him over to the Enterprise, again on paper, so that Charlie can make his way back to his people or relatives, his own kind, on Colony 5.
And the captain and the first Captain Raymond and his first officer navigator Tom Ellis are saying all about Charlie's praises. And then while they're talking, Charlie keeps interrupting him, but they're like, never mind. And of course, Kirk is like, that's unacceptable, but okay.
Yeah, Kirk's pretty clueless at this point. He doesn't seem to be picking up on how nervous and how anxious the captain and the first officer from the cargo ship are in regards to Charlie and wanting to get the heck out of there.
And then Charlie is like, wow, and there's lots of people on here. And Kirk's like, 428 to be exact. I thought that was cool. And so they just keep talking about Charlie. And Charlie even refuses to shake Captain Kirk's hand. I noticed that. And I was like, naughty kid already.
Well, he's got an ego. He's just
very full of himself.
He's just spent, let's say, a couple of months on this cargo ship, easily controlling the crew, who obviously know that he has powers, because why else would they be nervous about him? So he's just spent the last couple months as a king and doing whatever he wants as a spoiled, entitled 17-year-old. And I think that is more of the reason why we have Charlie's behavior, compared to the argument that, well, he's been alone on a planet by himself for many years and he just doesn't have social skills. I think that's part of it, but I think it's more that he just has a giant ego with his powers.
That makes sense. And then Kirk learns that he has family, relatives on Colony 5, and they agree to take him there.
Right, the whole reason for the rendezvous.
And so the other captain and Navigator Ellis are like, all right, see you later, and beam back to their ship.
Very quickly, they turn down
a meal and rest and everything.
and access to the Enterprise's entertainment, quote unquote, tapes. I'm assuming we don't see them, but that's going to be the version of leisure and recreation on a starship at this point. And they very much are, no, 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 thank you very much, but we have duties. We have to go. Thank you. Take off. Bye. Leave us alone. And you're right. They get the hell out of there.
And so Captain Kirk asks Yum and Janice, who we love,
And who just entered the transporter room.
yes, and Captain Kirk just asks, can you show, this is Charlie. Can you show him where to go? And of course, Charlie is just enamored. Is that a girl? And Kirk's like, yes, that's a woman. Respect her, underlaying. Like, don't be mean to my gal.
Yeah, and I think this is where we see a little bit of this isn't ego yet. Charlie obviously hasn't had any interaction with any women. I assume the crew members of the cargo ship were all men, and he wouldn't have had any other survivors on the planet. He wouldn't have any other female humans on the planet. So, depending on his memories when they crash landed, this may be the first woman he's encountered that he has any memory of whatsoever.
Yeah, and she's beautiful. So, yeah.
There's also a little bit of a inconsistency in this episode at this moment because what Kirk tells Janice is that Janice should show Charlie to his quarters and drop his medical records off at sickbay, the infirmary. However, they never make it to his quarters. They just go straight to sickbay. Just a little writing inconsistency.
Oh, yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, I had to go back and remind myself that was what happened. But
yeah, and his papers or history is called a dossier. It was like a little book.
Yep, we have those here too on Earth.
Oh, well, it was really cute.
So we have the opening credits, and then we find ourselves.
I really liked the opening credits this round. I don't know what was different, but as a musician, I rewound it twice.
Okay.
I don't know why it was different, but I really, really liked it.
I don't have the fun fact to the opening credits for this one. I do know that in these early episodes, the opening credits are a little inconsistent with how they give recognition to some of the actors and actresses with the title cards. I know some of the episodes show a different model of the Enterprise and are shot a little bit different. I believe this is one of the first episodes we see that is using a more modern and becomes a standardized opening credits, which is probably why you liked it better.
Okay.
But we find ourselves finally in the sick bay.
Yes. And Dr. McCoy is, and again, with our addition to our captain's log, that's where we do learn that Charlie was 3 when his plane, I know it's not a plane, but his aircraft, his ship crashed or exploded, whatever. He was 3 years old and he lived all by himself, assuming, for 14 years. And we're in the sick bay and Dr. McCoy is asking him, how did you survive that long? Do you have any memories? What happened? And Charlie ignores him. I mean, he's like a normal 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, McCoy's focusing specifically on how did you survive? How did you eat? And Charlie gives a non-committal, vague answer of there were food rations for a while, and then when those ran out, I just found things on the planet to eat. And McCoy's not really buying the story. He's definitely skeptical that a pre-teenager, once he runs out of food rations, would be able to find edible things on the planet and not end up poisoning himself or getting sick.
And he notates how immature he is. I thought that was funny.
Yes. And we get that first kind of unsettling moment from Charlie where he asks McCoy if McCoy likes him and commenting that the crew of the cargo ship didn't like him. That's why they wanted to get rid of him. McCoy kind of shrugs it off again as just the awkwardness of a 17-year-old boy with no social skills.
So and again, I did notate that we never make it to his quarters because we're in the hallway and crewmen are doing work. Like one dude is putting a stick down a hole.
Yep.
And Charlie is just watching him with a giant smile on his face.
Yeah. One, it's kind of weird that he has free reign of the ship. Kind of awkward.
Yes.
Especially because he's part of this scene is he's watching people climb out of access hatchways and stuff, and that seems kind of like that might be a more restricted area. No idea. They're doing busy work, but he's super excited. He gets to see new things. He gets to interact with new people. Again, who knows how long he was on that cargo ship? Several months at least, and he probably got very bored.
And then two people kind of come out of like a slide. I imagine a slide at the playground.
Yeah, like an access hatch.
And they're like, yeah, like, good job, guy. Let's go do something else. And like a general dude on a football team, one of them slaps their butt as they walk out. And Charlie's like, cool, new new thing to do.
Yeah. Knowledge unlocked. Ass slapping. Which comes into play in just a moment.
And so he thinks it's normal. So a normal thing to do, why not? So then he runs back into our gal Janice in the hallway, and he is just like, I have a gift for you. And what exactly is it that he gives her, though? It looks like a jewel, but then it's like a perfume?
It's a perfume bottle. It's specifically a perfume bottle or a scent that he seems to instinctively know is Janice's favorite.
And she tells him that, and she's like, why don't you come to the rec room with us?
Well, specifically, she says it's her favorite, but she's confused because...
How did he know?
Replicators are not a thing yet. Everything is still physically produced.
What's a replicator?
So a replicator, you'll learn in later episodes, is technology that can literally transform matter into whatever you want. So
I want one of those.
If you, with some limitations, but most specifically, it's used for food. So you walk up to a little cubby in the wall and you tell it, I want mac and cheese and a grilled cheese sandwich, and it just materializes it for you, and you eat it.
That sounds fantastic.
It is, but it is not a thing yet. So if replicators had been a thing, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Charlie would have just gone to the replicator and said, make this perfume. But because replicators are not a thing, and because Yeoman Janice knows that they don't have that perfume on the ship in the ship stores in their inventory, she questions where he got it from. And he doesn't answer. He doesn't tell her where he got it from, but she kind of shrugs it off. And you're right. There's the awkward back and forth where he wants to spend time with her and talk with her. She has to work, but she brushes him off with an invitation to join her after she's off work in the...
Oh, yes. She's off work at 1400.
Right. So
and you're like, does he know military time?
I would assume so. On the cargo ship, they probably would have used military time.
Is it called military time in Star Trek? I don't know.
I have no idea what the official term for military time is in Star Trek. I am stumped. Congratulations.
Yay. Well, anyways, she starts to walk off and he slaps her on the bum and she's like, oh my, we don't do that to ladies, and you should go ask Captain Kirk or Dr. McCoy just why.
Yeah, she very much avoids telling him why it's inappropriate. She does stress that it is inappropriate and he shouldn't do that, but as to the why, she pushes that question off for him to go ask McCoy or Kirk.
Yeah, it's not her job to tell him. He should know better. In her brain, I'm assuming.
I think she knows. I assume that Janice is smart enough to know his background, his lack of interaction with other humans, So I'm going to assume that Janice doesn't place that burden on Charlie to know how to act, but she is very firm in letting him know this is inappropriate. And I think that's why she's firm, but she's not angry. She doesn't yell at him.
No.
She's just very much, you can't do that. That's not appropriate to do.
And a strong male figure could help straighten him out.
Strong male figure's what saves everyone in the end.
I already know. I can see the future. But anyways, we're back on the bridge, and Captain Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are there chatting. They're like, what are we going to do with Charlie? Oh, it reminds me of like the Sound of Music. What are we gonna do with Maria? I know that's the wrong words, but they reminded me of that.
I'm glad that we got the song slightly wrong so that we don't get a copyright strike. Nope, can't sing music.
Well, it just reminded me of that. So, back to outer space. And then this is when, though, we learn about his, like a race, I'm assuming, the Thasians?
Thasians?
His people?
No, not his people.
No?
It's not very well.
That's what it made me think.
Yeah, it's not very well explained. Spock is speaking of a group of aliens that are theorized. They exist in legend or they exist in myth. They'll hint on it a couple times.
Oh.
They supposedly inhabited the planet that Charlie was found on, but there's no evidence of the Thasians themselves. Spock in this scene, if I recall, is half pitching this idea of Charlie didn't survive on his own. He wasn't smart enough and incredibly lucky to be able to find food and nourishment and shelter and all the things needed to survive on the planet by himself. He clearly had to have had help, which is evidence that the Thasians in fact exist. But we are diving far deeper into that than the show ever does in this episode.
That makes sense, because he then Spock does go, why lie if you had help? And then he discusses, then he just moves on to there's no disturbances in the area. He doesn't see how anything can happen.
Yeah.
Because he's just working on the whole history of the last 14 years.
Right. Well, and we will eventually piece together why Charlie doesn't mention the Thasians in any form whatsoever, because he doesn't want to go back to them.
And then Dr. McCoy is told that he needs to educate Charlie on the human body. And then Spock again reminds us that the planet would not have the proper plant matter to support humans.
Right, because he's pushing this theory about the Thasians.
I really liked that conversation, because I thought these people were real, but now you told me they're not. So
no, I said that there was no evidence up to this point in the Star Trek universe to support their existence. They are in fact real. We know they're real. Spoiler, who shows up and takes Charlie at the end of the episode?
Oh, is that who it is?
God. Yes.
Oh, I am so just kidding.
Yes. They chased Charlie down. Charlie was stolen from them, or Charlie escaped from them.
Oh, I just thought
Charlie was not rescued.
I thought they found a foster family.
Oh my God. Spoiler alert for those who haven't watched the episode.
So then we just jump right into the rec room.
Well, we have to assume that a certain amount of time has passed, because Spock can't immediately be on the bridge and then in the rec room. So this is implied that a certain amount of time has passed. Spock is now in the rec room. Janice is off of work. She's in the rec room with your favorite, the space vixen.
Uhura. Or O'Hara, whatever.
Uhura.
Well, I love her. But anyways, another thing about this episode is we see a lot of recreation. I know that sounds dumb, but they're not just doing jobs. They're doing fun things.
You're right. There's a lot more life, and there's also, we'll get to a little bit of those reasons in the fun facts as to why the episode looks the way that it looks. And this is an episode that takes place entirely on the Enterprise. There is no scene that takes place not on the Enterprise. So,
Right. I thought it was a good thing that we got to see more like that slide thing. I know it's on the slide, but like different ways of moving around, not just the beaming and the turbo lift.
yeah. So they're definitely using, from a production point, they're using more of the set, or we'll find out, reusing parts of the set to pad out the episode, which is why you are seeing more of the Enterprise.
Oh, interesting. Well, in this one, it is a musical because my gal, first of all, it's opening up and Spock is playing this stringed instrument. And first, it's like a dark, rocky sound. And then O'Hara is like, whatever, I'm going to sing whatever I want. So she starts singing, and Spock gives her an annoyed look, but then he changes key and makes it beautiful and melodic. And she sings another song all about the Enterprise itself. And it was just like, wow, this woman is very talented.
She's very comfortable in the spotlight, and I think wants to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, she's entertainment for everybody.
She's a social butterfly.
The actress herself is very talented.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine she's singing, not lip syncing.
No, she's definitely singing.
But then Charlie pops in, he interrupts everything, and Janice is like, ugh, this guy.
Well, he tries to interrupt everything. He very quickly looks around the room, fails to read the room, and then as the song is going on and everyone's listening to the song, he wants Janice's attention. So he tries to get her attention by tapping her on the shoulder, and she very much is like, oh yeah, it's nice to see you, and then turns her attention back to everyone else, and you can tell Charlie's a little annoyed at that.
Because and then Uhura has changed her tune and is making a cute little song about Charlie.
Which I don't think Charlie liked.
No, he stole her voice like Ursula.
Yeah, so I don't think Charlie enjoyed. I don't necessarily think it was entirely
He didn't get the compliment.
He didn't get the compliment. I don't think it was the context or the content of the song. I think it was more that he didn't like to be forced into the center of attention. He himself did not invite the attention, therefore he did not want the attention. Again, a teenage boy, because in just a moment it flips. He invites the attention, he controls the attention, and he enjoys it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I was like, wait, he was playing cards and he made it magic that 3 of them had pictures of Janice on it. And then he changed it to kings, and then an ace was down Janice's shirt and all other kinds of things.
Yeah. And again, I think that's because he's entertaining Janice. He now has Janice's attention, which is what he wants to begin with. But B, everyone else is paying him attention and he's controlling it. It's a good kind of attention versus when the song was being sung about him.
Oh, and he thought it was an insult.
He felt it was an insult. He felt he was the butt of the joke. He felt he was being played with a little bit. And so I don't think he enjoyed that attention, because it's important to point out here, I have it in my notes, he uses his power to take away Uhura's voice. Therefore, everyone's attention goes back to him. And can we just talk about that for half a second? One of their crew members and friends mysteriously can't talk anymore and loses her voice.
Grabs her throat.
And grabs her throat like this is clearly a problem. And no one does anything.
Spock looked at her.
He looks at her, but no one rushes to her help. No one tries to help her or figure out what's going on. And then later she has her voice back, and it's never mentioned again like, wow, that was really weird. I was singing and suddenly I physically did not have the ability to speak.
Well, she's a strong, powerful woman. She probably said, don't, waved everybody off and got a drink of water. And then poof, we're in the hallway, and Kirk tells us that it's going to be Thanksgiving on Earth soon.
Well, he He for clarification, he does not tell us, the audience, directly. He doesn't break the fourth wall. He
Oh, that'd
tells
be kind of cool, though.
No, that would not be cool. That would be way corny. He tells the clerk or the storeman who's in charge of the food on the Enterprise that it's going to be Thanksgiving on Earth. Or it is Thanksgiving on Earth. Is it? I think he says it is Thanksgiving on Earth.
Well, then he should have put the turkeys in a long time ago. But speaking of turkeys, he wants, since they're being made out of meatloaf, he'd rather his crew have real turkey. No,
No.
I lied.
He mentions that because it's going to be Thanksgiving on Earth, and because the crew is stuck eating meatloaf on Thanksgiving, he wants the meatloaf to be in the shape and look like turkeys.
Yes, that's what I meant
Yeah.
the whole time. And then Charlie comes back in
Sex pest Charlie.
and he asks Kirk, why can I not tap a lady on the bottom?
Tap a lady on the bottom.
Well, I want to be nice.
I'm going to translate.
Why can't I slap her booty?
Yeah, Daddy Kirk, why can't I slap a woman on the ass?
And Kirk very awkwardly explains why. Like, it's not nice.
It's a little weird that Kirk is so hesitant to have any sort of dialogue or interaction with Charlie until later, but his whole interaction with Charlie up until a certain point, this moment in particular, he's just awkward around Charlie. He doesn't know how to explain, this is why you don't put your hands on a woman. I don't get it. He's supposed to be the captain. He's supposed to have communication skills. Why can't he tell a 17-year-old, this is why you don't do something? Especially because they have no inclination that Charlie has these powers yet.
That's true. And he's very weak around him.
Yeah. So, again, until later. But, again, it's just super awkward. I don't understand it.
They all tiptoe around Charlie to be, when you think about it, except for Janice.
Even Janice really tiptoes around him. When he first slaps her on the butt.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't really get into why it's inappropriate. She pawns him off on Kirk or McCoy. When later Charlie gets really creepy and really up in her face, she doesn't try to pawn him off. I should say, she does pawn him off. She doesn't tell him anything. She goes to Kirk and says, you need to be the one to tell him to leave me alone. Even just from the scene before in the rec room with the cards, Charlie makes a card appear in her brassiere, basically. And she just kind of takes it in stride. I don't know. It's super awkward.
Yeah. It's like they're all used to this, like everyone has their line of order and they don't know what to do with this random person.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's no kids on this Enterprise. So maybe they all are just super awkward around a kid. And again, this all comes before they know that Charlie has these powers and can
He's an asshole.
Make their lives hell. So it just doesn't fit.
So Kirk has to go. He's called to the bridge, and then Charlie just invites himself and pops on the turbo lift with him.
Yeah, because he's, again, curious. He obviously had free reign on the cargo ship. He very much wants to learn everything and be involved in everything, and just doesn't listen to Kirk and says, nope, I'm going to come to the bridge with you.
So back onto the bridge, and they receive a warning. They're trying to communicate with the cargo ship and with the Captain Rampart, but for some reason, all communication just gets cut off. And Spock comments that the only thing left is debris from the ship.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, again, awkward handling of dialogue. The message cuts off, and Charlie makes a very specific comment. As everyone's staring around trying to figure out what happened and where the communication signal went from the cargo ship, Charlie makes the comment that the cargo ship was not built well or was not in good shape anyway. And then Spock is ordered to scan for the ship. Spock is able to pick up a debris field, which is identified as the cargo ship. So it blew up, it disintegrated, it was destroyed. But Charlie's comment very much outs him as knowing that that cargo ship was destroyed before he had any real reason to know that.
And had you not been watching the show, you wouldn't have seen his face do some weird scrunch.
His little eye roll.
Yeah. So you'd have no idea. But anyways, then it just goes back to our Thanksgiving, and Kirk is told that the meatloafs are actual turkeys now in the oven.
Yeah, the clerk or the storeroom person calls up to the bridge to report that all the meatloaf in the ovens are now turkeys.
And then a weird ass laugh, and Charlie just leaves.
Yeah.
And then we're back in the rec room. Da, da, da.
I think it's the same rec room. It's a different camera angle, so I don't know if this is the rec room or private quarters. I'm assuming it's some kind of communal space.
Yeah, like I would envision like a giant gymnasium, like a gym. They got different places over here. This is where we have our weird chess set that has 3 levels, and some of the pieces look like butt plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very concerned.
I think they just look like regular chess pieces, but
No.
no, I mean, yes, they do have, yes, they have that profile, but these are not special chess pieces. These are, in fact, chess pieces that are just standard chess pieces.
Okay.
Some of them look weird.
Very. And it's literally 3 tiered cake.
It's several levels. Yeah, it's 3D chess, which is something that continues on throughout all of Star Trek.
Okay, I'd imagine that.
I think you can buy 3D chess. There's actual 3D chess sets and rules for 3D chess that have been created out of this.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was really beautiful until I watched it again. I was like, oh, because, I'm obviously weird. And it's actually Kirk and Spock. They're the ones that are playing chess.
With the butt plugs.
Yes. And Spock, they're discussing Charlie. And Spock actually thinks that Charlie knew ahead of time that the cargo ship was going to explode or, be a mess.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with Charlie.
Spock picked up on that and has pointed it out to Kirk. I think Spock was the only one that really understood the meaning of Charlie making that comment.
I think Spock is just special because he doesn't have that human empathy kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, the last episode, he picked up on things also that the humans didn't.
Yeah. Well, and that's Spock. That's his Vulcan mindset. That's his ability to think outside of the box and very logically and problem solve without the burden of emotion or other things to get in the way of analyzing a situation and logically coming to a conclusion.
But then Charlie is like, it's like Charlie knows they're talking about him and he just arrives.
Doesn't knock, just walks in.
And Kirk is like, after he loses to Spock, he offers that Charlie play.
Well, no, Kirk wins the game of chess.
Did he?
Yeah, Kirk wins the game of chess, and Spock makes the comment that Kirk plays in a very chaotic and unpredictable, illogical way, and that has the advantage over Spock because Spock is trying to analyze him on what a skilled chess player would do. This happens in poker when professional poker players play amateur poker players, and the professional poker players seem to know how they all would play certain hands. So when they're trying to analyze what the other person's hand is, an amateur won't exactly do what a professional would do. They'll do something unpredictable, which means that the professional poker player has to almost guess, and it takes away the advantage of what they perceive to be the right move. So yeah, Kirk wins that game over Spock.
Huh. Interesting. Well, anyways, Kirk gives up his seat and Charlie takes it. And, you know, here, Spock, teach Charlie how to play chess. And Charlie's like, I already know how to play. You don't got to teach me.
Yeah. And Kirk.
He's very egotistical now. Like, he's getting more and more jerk face.
Yeah. And Kirk leaves. Charlie was excited to play chess and interact, but he wanted to interact
with Kirk.
Exactly. And he's disappointed when Kirk says, yeah, you can play chess. And it turns out he means you can play chess with Spock. I'm going to fuck off and I'm going to leave. And so Charlie is grumpy and moody that he doesn't get to play with Kirk.
So they do end up playing, but Charlie cannot stand to lose. Like, he is angry that he loses.
In 4 moves, he's checkmate by Spock.
And Spock was like, that's the wrong move. Like, he was going to give him a chance to change it. And he's like, no, I chose this. Oh, well, you lost then. And Spock leaves. And our dear friend Charlie melts all the white pieces.
Which were his.
WTF.
It's his pieces.
The pieces that Charlie played?
Yeah. Charlie was playing white. Spock was playing black. So he only melted the pieces that he was playing.
So why would he do that?
I don't know. I found that to be an odd choice, too. I would assume he would have either melted all the pieces or just Spock's pieces. The thought I had was it was a production choice to have him melt the white pieces because that was more, it visually stood out more.
That's true. They look like marshmallows.
Yeah, versus the bunch of melted black pieces.
I could see that. So he storms out and runs into his beauty love, Janice, who has a cute little thing with her.
That cute little thing is a woman, and her name is Tina.
Tina Lawton. And Janice is like, hi, Charlie. I thought you'd like to, meet someone your own kind of age. And her name is Tina. Have a nice day. And Charlie is a jerk face again. And the poor girl runs away with embarrassment.
She doesn't run away. She very much calls out Charlie for being rude. Charlie specifically ignores Tina and just focuses on Janice and says, Janice, can I talk to you alone? I need to talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
And is dismissive of Tina. And Tina calls him out on it.
Like, I have better things to do.
Yeah, and she leaves. She just storms off.
But Janice does finally chastise him and say, that was rude. You, again, should be nice to people, ladies in general. I mean, be nice to people. You're not on your own anymore. If you want people to like you, you should at least try. And then he continues to go on about how much greater she is and blah, blah, blah.
This is the scene where Charlie earns his title sex pest. Charlie's a sex pest because every time he talks to Janice, it's very much, I want to be with you. And in this scene, he is over the line, inappropriate, talks about how infatuated he is with her, how much in love he is with her, makes the very inappropriate comment that all the other women are just women, but you are Janice, and you smell like a woman. And I was like, whoa, that's the wrong thing to say, buddy. But
oh, yeah, that was really weird, too. Like, how do you know what a woman smells like when you've been all by yourself for almost 20 years?
Yeah, he's trying to express to Janice that in his mind, she is above every other woman on that spaceship. But boy,
She's that dream gal.
But boy, does he not pick up the clues that she's not into him, and boy, does he not pick up the fact that he is being very inappropriate. But
and then we jump back onto the bridge, and Janice and Kirk are discussing how bad Charlie is. Janice is like, Kirk, you need to do something about this.
Yeah, this is, I mentioned earlier, this is the part where Janice doesn't really stand up to Charlie in a way that I think she should. She definitely, her excuse is, he's been alone, he's antisocial, I'm his first crush. I don't even think letting him down gently is going to be received well. I can't be a part of that equation at all. Someone else needs to tell him to leave me alone. So then we jump to Kirk's quarters, and
There's so much jumping around.
Yeah, and this is going to be the first time that Kirk really gets up in Charlie's face. He does confront Charlie about the melted chess pieces that have been discovered, and Charlie doesn't know anything about it, he says, and he tries to leave, but Kirk sits him down, and Kirk very much lays it out and tries to have that talk with him about women and how Charlie can act around women and take it slow, how not to be such a sex pest, and gives him a little bit of advice. And then Charlie says, "Great, I'll apply that toward Janice." And then Kirk drops the bomb and says, "No, you can use that information and act that way toward women and be successful in courting and dating someone, but it's never going to be Janice." And he gives reasons because of the age difference is the big one, but also that Janice just isn't interested in him. And Charlie does not take that well at all.
He doesn't take it well. So, but they pop into the gym, another part of the rec room, I guess. And
I think it's a separate room, but yeah.
Yeah, like it's another area to, get their juices flowing.
Yeah, and this is Kirk's big plan is he's a teenage boy with a lot of hormones and a lot of emotions and energy. So let's funnel that into something more productive than chasing Janice around the ship.
And this is where we get to see Captain Kirk and all his muscles.
Yes.
And all the boys are in tights.
Yes, and Kirk has a shaved chest.
But so they're gonna tussle. Let's get that pent up stuff out. And the girls are just doing cartwheels. I don't know why the ladies only cartwheel, but
it's padding, it's fluff.
Okay. So we're cartwheeling while the boys are fighting because Charlie doesn't want to just do somersaults.
Yeah, Charlie doesn't want to learn from Kirk initially because Kirk is just showing him how to fall. And Charlie says, "I don't want to learn how to fall. You told me you were going to teach me how to fight," which I guess was mentioned off camera. But Kirk is trying to explain to him, you got to build a foundation of knowledge before we can teach you how to fight. You have to learn how to tumble. You have to learn how to fall safely so that when you're in a fight, you can not harm yourself if you're knocked over. But when Charlie doesn't respond well to that, Kirk says, "Well, then fine, if you don't want to learn how to fall and I don't want to teach you how to fight and be unsafe, let's at least show you some grappling moves and how you can throw your opponent. Maybe you'll be into that, kid."
And then, but he's embarrassed because he gets thrown.
He gets thrown hard. Well, I wouldn't even say hard.
No.
He gets into a position with Kirk where Kirk and him are grappling, and Charlie has no knowledge, so he's obviously not going to be able to successfully throw Kirk.
Exactly.
And so Kirk just does what he does. He just throws Charlie as part of the move.
And another crewman that's in there doing his own workout, Sam, he laughs. He's like, "Oh, that's funny." And Charlie is pissed off, and Sam disappears.
Charlie makes Sam disappear with his mind powers, which is...
That's when we get like that weird, like, until now, we haven't seen these weird rollback eyes. And then it just is like rollback eyes. If you weren't watching it, you'd miss it. And Sam, poof, gone.
Yeah, and this is the turning point of the episode because this is the first time that Charlie uses his mind powers in such a way that is so obvious to someone else that there's no denying it, that Charlie is the cause of all of these strange things happening.
And then Kirk is like, "No, that's not happening," and calls for security. And again, security, gone.
Well, he makes their phaser disappear.
Oh, yeah, like they were disappeared throughout the entire ship, not just that one that was pulled out.
Right.
I thought that was weird.
Well, I think it shows that Charlie has the ability to affect and use his mind powers on a much broader scale than what is directly in front of him. But we already kind of knew that because he was able to reach out through space and cause the cargo ship to explode.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Kirk is like, that is not going to happen. But for some reason, Charlie has some respect and does not make Kirk disappear.
No, it's explained a little later, but in this instant, when Kirk stands up to Charlie, because clearly he doesn't want to go with security to be confined in his quarters, Kirk stands up to Charlie. It's never mentioned, but
No.
my theory is Kirk views Charlie as a bully. And what's the best way to deal with a bully, especially a teenage boy, but to stand up to them, to show that the only power that you have over other people is when they allow you to have power over you. And if you stand up to the bully, they in fact have no power because there's nothing else coming behind that.
Oh, look at you getting all like philosophical
Uh,
and stuff.
I've watched a lot of TV. What can I tell you?
So, but now we pop back into the meeting room though, and Spock, McCoy, and Kirk, they're like the three amigos, the rulers. They're talking about Charlie again. What are we going to do about him? But they say he is not an alien. He's definitely humanoid.
Yeah, because Spock is again pushing this idea of the Thasians, and Spock briefly entertains or puts forth the hypothesis maybe he has these powers because he is a Thasian. That's in legend, in myth, the Thasians have this ability to.
But yet they're humans?
No, they look human.
Oh.
They are humanoid in form, but they are not humans. They are aliens. Just like Spock is humanoid in form, but he's a Vulcan. He's an alien.
That's really weird how they say, oh, well.
But they confirmed that Charlie is not a Thasian because McCoy did that exam on him all the way in the beginning. And so McCoy is the one to rule out that theory to say, no, he's human. He just has these powers for some reason.
Like a Marvel person.
Yes, like a superhero.
And then somehow Charlie enters the meeting room again because he has no boundaries. And he does confess that he blew up the cargo ship and maybe he'll blow up the Enterprise.
Yeah, he's not quite sure.
One jerk.
Yeah, he said he blew up the cargo ship again, saying that the cargo ship crew didn't like him and wanted to get rid of him. And of course they would. He's a jerk. He has this undeniable power to end people, to kill them, to control them with the threat of killing them. And so, who would like Charlie when he uses his powers that way?
So when they disappear, they do die?
No, because we find out later they're just suspended, but
he probably could kill them if he wanted to.
I would imagine Charlie would have the ability to directly kill someone by a wide means and methods such as making their lungs disappear.
Oh, geez.
But he doesn't do that. I don't even know if he has that control over the power. He just is,
He's just mean.
A lot of his reaction with his powers seems to be just that, a reaction to something. It doesn't seem to be very well thought out. As we see in just a little bit, and all of his interactions thus far, it's very much just Charlie doesn't like something, or Charlie needs to protect himself from something.
Take a Xanax.
So Charlie doesn't like the guy laughing at him. Poof, makes him disappear. Charlie sees that a phaser, a weapon, is drawn on him. He makes not only that weapon disappear, he instinctively makes all the weapons disappear. So.
Okay, that makes sense. So Kirk, we're out of the meeting room. We're back on the bridge. We got places to go, people to see. And he tells our good friend Uhura, oh yeah, to message Colony 5 and let's get this kid over to them.
Nope. Take 2. Kirk tells Uhura to contact Colony 5, yes, but he tells Uhura to tell Colony 5, we're not coming. And he tells comms, or the other crew member, to change course away from Colony 5. They don't want to take Charlie to Colony 5 and pawn him off on another colony and make him their problem. Because it's just going to be worse. He's going to have access to a bigger group of people. He's going to get more egotistical.
A planet.
So they got to figure out what to do with Charlie without dumping him off somewhere else.
But he makes her board explode.
Yes, because Charlie wants to go to Colony 5. Just like Charlie was excited to upgrade in life from a cargo ship with 20 people to a starship with 428 people, now he's trying to upgrade his life again and go to a colony with thousands of people.
And while they're doing that, Charlie pops in and interrupts what Spock is saying, and now Spock is reciting poetry for no reason. Like,
Yeah, because
again, he's being stupid. He's being mean.
he's trying to keep control of the situation. Spock was going to report some kind of readings that would possibly, I don't even know what the readings would have been because it's obvious that Charlie's doing this, but it's just a way, I think, for a funny moment to show the audience that Charlie has the ability to control others, that he has these abilities. But he's knocked out their comm system so they can't call anyone. He's taking control of the navigation of the Enterprise, so they're going to continue on to Colony 5. And he very much makes it apparent that he is in charge. But
And he goes after Kirk.
And again, Kirk stands up to Charlie and doesn't win anything over, but at least forces the stalemate that Charlie leaves the bridge.
But he runs into our girl Tina in the hallway, and she gets turned into a lizard.
An iguana.
An iguana.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
Again, I think it's just fluff.
I mean, at least she is still with us, as far as we know, but she's now green.
Yeah.
But Charlie goes to Janice, because that's been his goal the whole time. And he just walks in. He's like, hello. And she is surprised, and he gives her a flower.
Yeah, specifically, she's in her pajamas.
And Janice is not happy. She activates her comms, trying to get to the bridge, saying what's happening, and Kirk and Spock are on their way to rescue her. But he stalls them. They're up against the wall, and I love it. Janice slaps him, Charlie.
Yes, the first time that Janice
Finally.
really stands up to Charlie.
But then she disappears. He got mad.
Charlie gets mad. Charlie has another reaction to a situation without thinking, and he uses his mind powers to make Janice disappear.
And then he threatens Kirk that you better play with my rules or I'll make more people disappear.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He tells Kirk that he could make Kirk disappear just like Janice, but he needs Kirk to run the Enterprise. Charlie can't run it by himself. He could control the cargo ship by himself because it was smaller. There were less systems. There were less things for Charlie to control. So Charlie probably had more free reign to do what he wanted on the cargo ship than on the Enterprise. And he tells Kirk, you need to be nice, and you need to help me run the Enterprise the way I want to run it and get where I want to go, Colony 5, or I'm just going to start making other people disappear.
And instead he doesn't make him disappear. He is just mean, and he's in the hallway. He makes one lady super old, and she is crying. And then another one, we see that he removed her face. It's like bubble gum across her entire face as she walks around the corner. And these poor ladies, it makes me mad. And then poof, we're back on the bridge again, and my gal Uhura gets the message. So obviously she fixed her comms really quickly, and the message is coming through.
And Charlie looks nervous. I think it's important to point out to the plot that's very
who could get through that broken comm system?
And it's very calculated that this is not just another typical message. He looks nervous, but he then immediately uses his mind powers to block the message.
And runs away like a child. And he's running, but then he decides he's just going to freeze all the crew members he runs past and pushes past out of there.
So this is where I put in my notes. He freezes one crew member, a female crew member, and then he encounters...
All women, he does this.
Thank you. He turns Tina into a lizard. He makes a woman's face disappear. He makes a woman grow old. And he freezes a crew member. He's using all of his mind powers on women.
And disappears the dudes. That one dude. Well, Sam.
Well, the Sam was a reactionary thing.
Okay.
But when he encounters those three guys in the hallway immediately after freezing the woman in
You're
this scene,
right.
he just pushes past them like a spoiled kid. He doesn't do anything to them. It's also up for interpretation, but when he takes away the woman's face in the hallway a couple scenes prior, she's laughing and talking with other crew members who are men. And
You're right.
it's open to interpretation. We only see the female crew member lose a face. Does he do anything to those guys? Because they never come into frame. Or do they just stand there shocked that he did nothing to them? He only took it out on the woman. I just found it very interesting that Charlie's going through all this, and these are not reactionary in the sense of preservation. He's not trying to protect himself. He's not trying to.
He's harming them.
He's lashing out, and he's only subconsciously, I think, choosing to lash out against women.
Because they're quote unquote the weaker sex?
I don't know, or this is just the source of his frustration.
Because Janice won't accept them?
This is the biggest source of frustration for him is the rejection by Janice. I mean, I'm sure he's annoyed about a bunch of things, but I don't know. I just found it interesting.
Well, he does manipulate Janice. I guess we could get there.
So we're back on the bridge after Charlie's little temper tantrum storming down the hallway. And again, we're back to a meeting of, as Jaci dubbed them, the Three Musketeers.
Men of power.
Kirk formulates this plan that because Kirk observes that Charlie hasn't made anyone disappear since he took control of the ship. Jumping back a little bit, when they got the message or they tried to message Colony 5, Charlie broke the comm system. He is now running the ship full navigation to keep it on course to Colony 5. Kirk makes the observation he hasn't made anyone else disappear. And so Kirk hypothesizes that Charlie has a limit to his powers and what he can do all at once. So they come up with this plan that Kirk stands up to Charlie and they stretch out his powers, or they force him to focus on so many different things that it creates little holes in his control and they can knock him out or tranquilize him in some way.
That's really weird because all this time he's been taking away lady features.
Yeah, but maybe that takes less of
juice.
Yeah, less power, less concentration. I have no idea.
Okay.
But
Star Trek theory. Huh.
Yeah. But Charlie arrives back, all egotistical. Kirk stands up to Charlie, and while Charlie is forced to focus on Kirk, Spock and McCoy are turning on and manipulating all these extra systems on the bridge in the background. Again, this theory, if they start manipulating things, Charlie has to undo what Spock and McCoy are doing. So it, again, stretches out his powers. It thins out his powers. It distracts him.
I see what you mean now. I get it. Okay. So they're doing that, but they're still trying to distract him even so. And then all of a sudden, this giant green head appears.
Well,
kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Slightly before that, to catch up to the green head, Kirk's plan works. Charlie's powers are stretched so thin, they finally get through the message that had been cut off by Charlie, and it is the other ship. It is the Thasians coming back to get Charlie.
Yes.
The green head is the Thasian.
Oh, I get it now. But they look like a human, just a green head, no body.
Humanoid is the term we're looking for.
See, I said that earlier. So, but in general, if he's just showing, is it like a hologram, or is that how he is?
It's
because he's like yelling at him like the Wizard of Oz, before you see behind the curtain, and
so
taking him back.
I'm gonna guess that is the form that the Thasians have. That it's not a projection. It is a projection, but it's not a projection of a solid form person.
Got it.
he makes the comment that they took on that form. I think he says centuries ago, which makes no sense, but I think that's how he exists. They don't have a solid form.
They want to take Charlie back, that it's way too dangerous to have him away from them. Like, look at all this ruckus he did.
Yeah, it's communicated that, well, first and foremost, the Thasian does mention that they fixed or corrected everything that Charlie did. So Tina is no longer a lizard. The woman who lost her face presumably has her face back. The only thing
Yay.
so proving that those who disappeared are in fact not dead, it would have to mean that Charlie was using his mind powers to keep them removed from reality. Again, another example of stretching his powers out too thin. He's made multiple people disappear. He has to focus on keeping Tina a lizard, keeping the woman with no face.
That's wild.
Probably why Uhura got her voice back, was Charlie just stopped focusing on taking her voice away. So, and also of note, the Thasians mention that they gave Charlie this power when they found him on their planet in order that he would have the ability to survive.
Like a gift, and now he's using it for bad.
Yep, because I don't think they ever thought he would be rescued. And who knows? He may not have been rescued. They did say that that Charlie slipped away from them. So he could have just escaped. He could have forced his way somehow onto the cargo vessel.
He was a castaway, not a castaway. What's it called?
Stowaway.
Stowaway. They called him a stowaway at the beginning. That's why the first ship couldn't have him. They didn't have room.
Yep. So that all makes sense. He wasn't rescued. He somehow snuck away from the Thasians. I don't know how. I don't know if the cargo ship was on the planet or he stole a Thasian ship, and I have no idea. They don't get into it, but that confirms he did in fact escape.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
And he was having way too much fun with his powers.
Yep.
So, but Kirk's like, oh, but, he can stay. It's okay. And Charlie begs, I don't want to go back with the greenheads, the Thasians, but...
Oh, he goes way further than that.
Sad.
He is desperate. He is terrified to go back to the Thasians.
He was bad. He was a big-ass jerkface.
I don't think he's scared about being punished in any way. I don't think the Thasians care to punish him. The Thasians just want him to exist on the planet. And
he'd be lonely.
Charlie makes the comment that he can't even touch them. He can't interact with them. He's going back to the planet
alone.
Not to rejoin the Thasians, but to be alone. And that terrifies him.
I see what you... I see that. I see it now. I didn't get it until now. But, I say bye.
Jaci's cold-hearted bye. The Thasians override Kirk's objections, cannot be swayed to let Kirk and the humans find a way to teach him to use his powers. It's too much of a risk, and the Thasians make the decision to take Charlie back. They, in their own form, beam him back to their ship, but it's the same special effect as when Charlie made people disappear. It's terrifying. It's haunting.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's almost horror. It's almost like a horror movie type moment. It is really, really gut-wrenching watching Charlie beg basically for his life and get taken away.
Well, perhaps we'll see him again as a grown-up when he's learned to use his powers for good, and he can join them on the ship somewhere.
Spoiler alert from the Star Trek expert, we never see Charlie again in any Star Trek episode up to the time of this recording.
Well, there are a lot of Star Trek shows.
Yeah,
he could pop in somewhere. Maybe he'll be a Marvel character.
He does appear in some books, in comic books, very briefly as like alternative stories, but no. I had to stop and think when I was watching this to go, do we ever see Charlie again? Do we ever get to have any sort of alternative conclusion to his story? Nope, a character that never comes back. So,
Well, let this be a lesson. Be nice and you can come back. Be mean, Janice will not let you come back.
that's the lesson we'll take away. And roll credits. So, Jackie, what did you think about season 1, episode 2, Charlie X?
I did not like it as much as the first one. Again, you know, I watch these things multiple times, these episodes, because I don't know what I'm watching. I'm learning still. And even though I catch more things as I watch, if I look down to pick up something that I dropped on the floor and I miss one of those eye rolls, I have no idea what Charlie just did and I have to rewind. So it was kind of annoying, really, overall.
Yeah.
I really hope the next one is more exciting because then, I mean, if this is a new show series, this is not really the best one to catch a viewer's attention.
No, and I definitely think that was a decision that the network made, of course, not to air this episode.
But I like learning about all the activities, though.
Yeah. I also don't think this I should backtrack. This was not going to be the second episode. We'll talk about it in a minute, but this episode played as the second episode for other factors and other reasons.
I did like the stronger uniforms, though. They're getting better.
They are getting better. So, but yeah, I didn't like this episode. This is not my favorite episode. This is not, in my opinion, a great episode. It's got some problems for me. I think my biggest problem I have from a plot perspective is the destruction of the cargo ship. It's very weird to me that Charlie would have the ability to, we didn't touch on it in too much detail during the episode, but Charlie confesses he made the ship blow up by using his powers on an already weakened bulkhead on the ship. But again, across such a huge distance, it's just very improbable to me that Charlie would have the ability to do that.
And that he knew about it.
I would have preferred Charlie make the cargo ship explode in the very beginning of the episode, as just after he's dropped off on the Enterprise, as they're leaving, he makes the cargo ship blow up while it's still there next to the Enterprise, as a big mystery to then unfold throughout the episode. I think.
Wait, it's the same cargo ship that they originally got him from? I thought it was a completely different one.
No, it's that cargo ship. They, for
Oh.
whatever reason, decided to radio the Enterprise to try to warn Kirk about Charlie.
A little late.
Something they couldn't do in the transporter room because Charlie was standing right there. Why they decided to do that, why they waited so long, it unravels. Again, I think it would have been a better writing moment if
Yes, it was right up. Yeah, I'm with you.
if Charlie makes the ship blow up in the very beginning, and that is kind of this, and maybe he makes a similar comment. Oh, it wasn't very well constructed in the beginning, to immediately plant the seed that something is up with Charlie, to give that initial hint to his mind powers to the crew, to Spock, McCoy, Kirk, so that they can unravel that mystery throughout. Because you go back and re-listen to this episode, we talk a lot about this episode and plot, but it's not until the moment in the gym when Sam is made to disappear that is the turning point of the episode. Far too late into the episode.
At the end, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
So.
Oh my gosh.
But
boo.
Yeah. But despite not being our favorite episode, I do have some Tribble tidbits or fun facts to the episode.
Yay.
And Jackie, why do we call them Tribble tidbits?
Because they're the best and they're fuzzy.
Yeah. This episode first aired September 15th, 1966.
Oh.
Robert Walking Jr., who played Charlie, the actor who played Charlie, had training as an actor, as a method actor. So
Okay.
Robert, the actor, chose to remain in his dressing room between takes and not interact with any of the other cast members. This helped develop his character as being aloof and mysterious, And everyone on set praised the decision and praised him as an actor, as a method actor. I think it comes across in the acting. Again, I think the actor did a very good job
Yes.
acting a character, and it's the writing that makes the episode suffer. But that's just me.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, he did a great job, but it was a lot of face and body. So if you weren't watching, you missed a lot of it.
Yeah. This is the first and only appearance of the ship's gym.
No.
The gymnasium itself is the same as the engineering set, so the engineering room, with a little bit of redressing. And the tumbling room with all the female acrobats
Cartwheelers.
doing all the cartwheeling is just the briefing room. Again, they just redress it and change the camera angle.
Well, that's good. They know how to use their environment.
Yep. Robert Walker Jr., again, the actor who played Charlie, was 26 during the filming when he's portraying the 17-year-old Charlie. For comparison, the actress who played Tina, his supposed same-age friend, that actress was 23, and Grace Lee Whitney, who plays Yeoman Janice, is 36.
Interesting.
The original title of this episode was The Day Charlie Became God, or just Charlie is God. It was changed to avoid potentially upsetting network censors. Again, 1966, don't want to ruffle too many feathers. So the name was changed to Charlie's Law, and then it became Charlie's X. I'm sorry, Charlie X, not Charlie's ex-girlfriend.
Huh.
The secondary working title, Charlie's Law, was later used as the title of the book form tie-in novelization when they wrote a book.
Oh, okay.
You said that you liked the sets of this episode. They used, if you go back and look, there's not a lot of gray when it came to the hallways in the Enterprise. A lot of the backgrounds and the walls were brightly lit in different colors. This was a specific choice to help promote the sale of color televisions at the time. This aired as the second episode, not because of the script or the plot, but because all of the scenes, as I mentioned, took place on recycled sets or sets that had already been built on the Enterprise. They needed no new sets. It shortened the post-production schedule, and that was needed because they immediately hit a deadline to finish the episode to get it to air. And we know this also because I mentioned it aired in September, but it was supposed to air in November around Thanksgiving. That's why
Which is why they talk about turkey?
That's why they have the reference to Thanksgiving and the turkeys. But as they filmed it, and they started running into these production problems and the scheduling, so they said, well, wait a minute, this one doesn't need any extra work. It's all done on the Enterprise. We can get that out quicker. So they switched up the order and kicked it out in September.
Well, I could see that it was creative because then you got to learn about the Enterprise.
Yeah. When Charlie throws Spock and Kirk against the wall, when they rush into Janice's quarters to save her, Spock actually cracks the wall of the set.
Literally?
Literally. He creates a giant crack in the sheetrock on the set. And
well, that's why he broke his legs.
Exactly, because we didn't mention it, but Spock, he had a broken leg, so he couldn't stand up. They wrote that in the moment because there was no time to fix the set, and there was no other way to hide that crack in the wall without changing a whole bunch of stuff. It was just easier to have Spock sit and lay in that position to block the giant crack on the wall. So this episode is a body count of 20, but those are all members of the cargo ship that are blown up off camera. And finally, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, is the one who voiced the comm message about all the meatloafs turning into turkeys in the oven. That was Gene. And that one line is the only speaking role he has in Star Trek before he dies.
But he created it?
Yeah, Gene Roddenberry is the creator of Star Trek.
Wow.
And those are your Tribble tidbits. This is the part of the episode where we rank the episode.
Ensign.
This is where we pretend the episode is a member of a crew of a fictitious starship that we each have, one starship per season, and we rank all of the different episodes. We have 5 regular rankings: Captain, Commander, Lieutenant Commander, Lieutenant, Lieutenant Junior grade. We also have room for 15 out of 10 perfect episode for the season of Admiral. And then we have the bottom of the barrel, the 0 out of 10, the Ensign. We will post a graphical representation of our ranking as we progress through the season on our Patreon at patreon.com/Treks and Tangents, and we'll post that the day after the episode airs. But Jackie, you blurted it out, but
I kind of hold it in.
What would you rank Charlie X?
Ensign.
And why would you rank it an Ensign?
Because, yes, it was educational, but I didn't, I could have done without it.
Could have done without it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, the Ensign is a 0 or 1 out of 10.
I'll give him a 1 since Charlie did a good job.
And I'm going to rank the episode a Lieutenant Junior grade.
Oh, Lordy.
This is the worst ranking that I've given an episode so far. It is 1 rank above Jackie's Ensign. It is a 2 or 3 out of 10. Yeah, I don't like the episode very much. It's it's a story or a plot that is done better in the Twilight Zone episode. And
so there really is a Twilight Zone episode?
Yeah, and I think the episode of the Twilight Zone episode definitely airs before Star Trek, but it's the same idea. A small kid comes up with these powers to do what he wants, and everyone has to be nice to him, everyone has to play with him, everyone has to like him. And I think why I like the episode of the Twilight Zone better than Star Trek is in the Twilight Zone episode, the little kid has the ability to read minds.
Oh.
And so the kid clearly knows when people are thinking bad thoughts about him, when they are trying to come up with a plan to knock him out or get away and escape. And he's punishing people for their thoughts. It makes it even more scary because these people have to force themselves to think happy thoughts so that they don't get punished by the little kid. And the little kid sends him out to the cornfield to disappear and never be seen from again. I think Charlie has the ability to read minds. Otherwise, he wouldn't have known Janice's favorite perfume. You mentioned that he has the ability, he seems to have the ability to know when anyone is talking about him. But at the same time, there's other examples where he should have been able to read their minds and know what was going on. He should have known about the plan to stretch his resources thin. He should have read someone else's mind a couple times. Won't go too far into it for time. But again, they don't address it in the episode, whether he can or cannot read minds. I think it weakens the episode overall, and that's why I give it a rank of Lieutenant Junior grade. So this is the part where we close out the episode and we give our turbolift tease or elevator pitch. And we do so by giving Jackie the title of the next episode for next week. And Jackie, with no other information, will give a brief pitch to the plot. And next week, we start off by seeing if she was right. Jackie, next week's episode is entitled Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Well, the moon, hello. No, I'm kidding. Well, I mean, the title alone says they're going to head off into some place, or maybe it's going to be like a Amazonian woman conference and the men have to go in tippy-toe to save someone.
We'll go with that, and we'll see if you're right next week.
You never know. I kind of am getting good at this.
We'll see. If you want more show information, you can find and directly support our podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/Treks and Tangents. Again, we'll post our graphical representation of our episode ranking as we go. Cute. We also have available for members at Patreon our recordings of test episodes for this podcast, where we did some test recording episodes for the format to work out the bugs. We did some episodes with Fringe. We did some episodes with Stargate SG-1. And we've got other fun things planned as well. You can also follow us on X at Trex_Tangents. We're on Instagram and Blue Sky at Trex and Tangent. Jackie, where can people find you and what you're up to?
I am on Instagram as Jaboom, Jibboom, and I am jumping on the Labubu craze, but I make their cute little necklaces because why not? And everybody has clothes for the version 3, but my necklaces fit everybody. So go check them out, along with all my music, my dog training, you name it, I got it.
And you can watch me stream a variety of video games over at twitch.tv/PiratePoundTown. On YouTube, I post video games and other random content on my main channel at Pirate Pound Town, and coin collecting and hobby content at my secondary channel, Pirate Treasure Hunting, also on YouTube. I post socially on Blue Sky at Pirate Pound Town, and finally, I can be found on Instagram under Pineapple Cannibal because I am banned as Pirate Pound Town on Instagram.
Oops.
Links to all social media mentioned can be found in the episode description. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode. We hope you had fun like we did, and we will see you all next week.
Pew, pew, pew. Adios.
End transmission.